Honourable member for Lac-La-Biche, St. Paul, Two Hills.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the situation in northern Alberta is beyond dire for many local farmers, and many are not getting help from AFSC. Last Thursday, when it looked like we might get into the fields to harvest some of the 2016 crop, we got hit with another foot of wet, heavy snow. It is now questionable if area farmers will be able to start seeding on time, let alone get last year's crops off. To the Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, last year's remaining crop is a write-off in many areas. When will you step in and instruct AFSC to get those assessments completed?
Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you. I wish to thank the member to give me the opportunity to highlight the good work that AFSC has been doing. It is true that there was a bit of a roller coaster season last year. It started out dry and it ended wet for many farmers. But as of March 24th, over $32.3 million from paid to producers, which is 95% of all unharvested acre claims have been processed, Mr. Speaker. So I would disagree with the member. We're actually very well on track. Our inspectors are doing a good job. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
First supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that farmers are expected to pay their premiums on time, and given that a local farmer, when calling in to the AFC, was given the following response, and I quote, "I could give you my supervisor's phone number, but she won't answer you anyway. You'll get put on hold and be given the runaround." And given that AFSC has only paid out 25% of the insurance to some of these farmers, again to the Minister of Agriculture, when will you step in? This is a provincial program. Will this supervisor's attitude be dealt with? And how is this making life better for Alberta families?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What I do know is that we have 120 inspectors working out there in the field right now, boots to the ground, making sure that the remaining very few claims are processed. As is for the individual the member is talking about, I encourage him to give me more information, and we'll look into it. Otherwise, all farmers could contact their AFSC office or phone 310-FARM. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Second supplemental.
Matter of fact, Minister, the lady sent the same letter that she sent to me to your office as well. Mr. Speaker, given that there are still thousands of fields that need to be assessed and there is no time for a full assessment, and given that we discussed this probability with the minister just weeks ago, and it's now April 20th, and the situation has only gotten worse, to the Minister of Agriculture, these crops are ruined, period. When will you instruct AFSC to do a blanket assessment based on a nominal site visit and pay out what is owed to our hard-working Alberta farm families?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, the member. Again, I am proud of the work that the Agriculture Financial Service Corporation is doing, the 120 inspectors are doing. 95% of those claims that he's talking about have been paid out on those unharvested acres. As for the weather, I'm willing to inform the Assembly that I and this government has nothing to do with the weather. What we do have is on those policies that the AFSC is administrating. They're going to continue a good job. We're going to continue having the backs of those farmers, Mr. Speaker, continue having the backs of all Albertans. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You're here.